I was gooning when this mock draft decided to be posted, so that's why I'm a little late. But today I will be reviewing Crab's 2-round NFL mock draft, free agency fallout, and potential Ty Simpson round 1 trade up. Pretty cool. Let's get into it like we usually do. Number 1, the Raiders go Fernando Mendoza, another easy pick for the boys back home. I think this would be an awesome fit for this team that really needs a quarterback after getting rid of Geno Smith. Be awesome for this team, and I think this team would love it. It's probably the most surefire pick. Like, it's probably the most locked in pick. So I think this makes the most sense for this team that really needs it, and this team honestly just needs a quarterback. So why are we really talking about this that much? So we're gonna go with the Raiders taking Mendoza. Jets take Sonny Styles. So this is an interesting area to see. I'm gonna just get rid of this. The Jets take Sonny Styles is gonna be another interesting area to talk about. Sonny Styles to test off the charts in some of his combine like areas. So that's going to be a real interesting area to see if an off-ball linebacker goes this high. I don't really think so, though. I think this team will probably go with an edge rusher, especially after losing Jermaine Johnson. There's a real vacancy there. They didn't really address it that well in free agency, so I think taking an edge rusher here works better. Take your pick of the litter for the 3 that are in the top, that being Sonny Styles, Alvaro Reese, and David Bailey. So take your pick there. I don't think taking Sonny Styles here is the right pick, because this team, I think, needs a little bit more on the edge side of the defense. But I can see it, but and I'm not saying it's a wrong pick if they do, but I just think that they need a bigger need in that other edge rushing department. Cardinals take Maui Noah. I can see this too. He hasn't listed as an own line, so I'm assuming he'd probably move to guard, but I don't think he'll make a guard this quickly. So he'd probably be playing, maybe he has him playing a swing tackle. Interesting area. This pick might turn into shit if Josh Sweat requests a trade and they have no edge position. That's gonna be a real issue. So maybe they hold off an offensive tackle, so that's gonna be a real interesting area. This team might just have to take an edge rusher, and again, if Alvaro Reese is available, they take Alvaro Reese here. If not, they take David Bailey or Bain, like one of those two. If not, they take Maino if Josh Sweat stays, I guess. But there's definitely different areas they can go here. But yeah, we can go Francis Maino here. I mean, it's a simple pick. Titans take Jeremiah Love. I've seen this a lot too. I think I like this fit a lot for them because they do need a solid running back. I know Tony Pollard is fine, but this team honestly is kind of seem to be investing in Cam Ward, which is the right decision. First of all, Cam Ward will be awesome for this team, but I think that Cam Ward did so much with so much less last year. So why don't you take a guy who can do so much with so much, right? Like you already got Wanda Robinson, you have DK, and then if you have Pollard too, and then you will have your tight ends, and then you have Jeremiah Love, who's also a pretty good guy, and then you use Jeremiah Love similar to that Saquon Barkley role that Brian Daboll used in New York his first year when he was there. That's gonna be an interesting area to talk about. So we can do that. That's great, and you can definitely see them going Alvaro Reese here with Alvaro Reese on the board, but Jeremiah Love won't be a bad pick regardless. Those two will be perfectly fine. Giants take Cardinal Tate out of Ohio State. Interesting area to talk about. I think the Cardinal Tate train is kind of risen a little bit for me because Kyle Lemon has fallen for me a lot because the main reason is he just didn't interview well. That's to be a real issue because if he's not meshing well with the people in the locker room, that's going to be a behind the scenes problem, and that's going to be a real issue. But Cardinal Tate has been really good. He'll be a good contrast to Malik Neighbors after letting him rehab from this ACL injury, and they'll really need it. So I think taking especially like this guy says, especially with the loss of Wandale Robinson in free agency, you don't really have that number one guy. I know they just signed Calvin Austin, I know they just signed Darnell Mooney, but I think those guys are stopping me from drafting a wide receiver regardless, even with a contrast to Neighbors. And those guys can be good rotational pieces. Calvin Austin can play that slot role that Wanda Robinson is good, like the vacancy that Wanda Robinson left, right? So you can play that slot role. You can also have Darnell Mooney playing that slot role if you need him to, or play a rotational X, or even put Malik Neighbors in the slot because Malik Neighbors can also play the slot. Malik Neighbors can play anywhere. He's an elite receiver. You can play anywhere. So there's a lot of different areas this team can go, and this team is building something really sneaky nice. So I think I like this pick for a lot for them. The Browns take Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. I don't think this makes that much sense either. I think I would prefer Monroe Feeling here. This team just needs a tackle. I think tackle would work so much better, even though if Monroe Feeling has his concerns with him not being able to have that much experience. I think that just makes a little more sense for me, though. Caleb Downs is fine, I guess, but it's not the worst idea in the world to take him because you do get a solid leader in that team. That defense gets even better, but this offensive line and offensive group in general is just not that great. So I would prioritize that if I can. If not, trade back. And you can probably take Caleb Downs later, but I don't like that. pick that well. The Commanders take the first edge rusher off the board. They take Arvell Reese, but this would be awesome for them if they can find a way to snag Arvell Reese in this 7th position. That would be awesome for this team because Arvell Reese has so much upside as a player, and Dan Quinn can really just use his old knowledge of defensive linemen. Would be awesome for this team. He can really accentuate this defense and really get some good edge across the Madafe away, and also play that and chase onto and play that off-ball linebacker if you need him to. There's a lot of flexibility. This would be awesome. David Bailey goes to New Orleans. I think this would be awesome for this team as well. I think this team does need an edge. If it's not Bailey, it's going to be Bain for me. I mean, they're really 1A, 1B other than Reese. But this team would be awesome fit for Bailey because Bailey would be provide instant pass rush for this team. He's not really a 3-down lineman, which is a big problem, but he can get to the pass rusher, which this team has really lacked. And with Chase Young coming back, you can kind of like help him develop him into a better pass rusher, so it's not the worst idea in the world. The Chiefs take Ruben Bain Jr. I think if Ruben Bain falls here, that'd be amazing for this team. I think this team would love Ruben Bain here. I think if this team was didn't lose Mike Dana, they probably wouldn't draft Ruben Bain Jr. They'd probably take Mansour here, but I think Bain falls to this team. They need him here, kind of like a Spags type player where you take the production and will be really good across from Chris Jones for his last couple years, and will be an awesome player who can be a real true 3-down lineman. I think he's the best 3-down lineman coming into the NFL in this draft class. So this would be amazing for this team, and I think this team really needs a 3-down lineman as well after losing Dana. And I don't really trust George Kalafdis. I really like Ruben Bain here a lot. This would actually be a really good fit for this team. The Bengals take Peter Woods out of Clemson. I just don't see any world where this happens. I don't think people are really high on Peter Woods anymore. I don't know why. I think I have Peter Woods as a top 10 player in this class, but Peter Woods is awesome for this team because you do need a defensive lineman after you get Trey Hendrickson gone, so you get your defensive lineman in the future. I think Mansour will work a little bit better because Mansour can play on the nickel or the outside after losing so many secondary pieces. I know that makes a little more sense to me. I think Mansour would be awesome for this team. I have Mansour is also a top 5 or maybe top 10 player in this class as well. I think he would be awesome for this team. But the thing is, Peter Woods has fallen a lot on draft boards, and I don't think he'll be the first defensive lineman taken off the board in general. So that's going to be a real interesting area to talk about. So Peter Woods does go here, but I think there's a little more needs in the secondary for this team. The Dolphins take Vega Ione out of Miami. I can definitely see this too. I think this would be a good fit for this team that needs a guard piece, but again, Mansour is here. This corner room and secondary room just in general is terrible for the Miami Dolphins. So taking him here is not the bad idea. You get your guard of the future because I would never knock him for an offensive lineman pick, but I think I prefer Delane here. But again, I won't be mad at you if you're taking offensive lineman because that's very, very important. The Cowboys take Mansour Delane out of LSU. This would be an easy pick for them if he falls. You need a better secondary. I know you just signed Kobe Durant, so that'd be good. But you also have 2 first-round picks, so you can get an edge later down on the board. Maybe TJ Parker, Akeem Messador, people like that. So you can take someone like that. That would be pretty good for this team if you take Mansour here. Rams take Mekhi Lemon. I've kind of strayed away from this pick too because I think Mekhi Lemon might drop a little bit, but I think Mekhi Lemon would be awesome contrast to this team, and Devontae Adams would be a good compliment eventually once Devontae Adams is on his way out when he's done. So that's going to be a pretty good fit for this team. He would be a good slofty type of shifty receiver. Kind of be like Amon-Ra St. Brown for this team. The Ravens take Spencer Fano. This would be honestly a pretty good pick for them as well. I think Spencer Fano has so much versatility on the line. He didn't test well in his arm department, but that's not really going to be a terrible situation. You can probably move him to guard because I already have him as a guard regardless. I think he can play tackle if you need him to, but I think guard would probably fit him better for this team. But you can also literally play anywhere, so this team would love the versatility. And he's just really strong. He's really quick for his size too. Like, he's just a really good player. I think the only reason why he fell so far is because of his arm length, and that's not going to really hinder him as much as people want him to be hindered. So he definitely has the ability to play tackle. It's just his arm length is very small, and you've seen smaller people like Will Campbell get drafted really highly regardless of his arm length. So there's going to be a lot of interesting areas to talk about, but I think Spencer Fano would be a great fit for this team that really needs it. The Bucks take Akeem Messador out of Miami. This is another interesting pick too. I think Akeem Messador, for the injury red flags and the age, wouldn't go this high. I would prefer something else here, but you take him here. It's not a bad idea, but I think I would prefer him to go a little later. I think the concerns are a little bit too much, but this team hasn't really gone towards these type of players, but he also does get to the pass rushing quarterback, so I guess not. But I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this team, this pick for this team. Jets take Dylan Thielen, safety out of Oregon. I would love this too. I think this would be an awesome, great contrast to Minkah Fitzpatrick as well. I know they did bring in Dane Belton was a depth guy in New York, and Andre Cisco, you can replace him. I don't think that's a deal breaker if you replace Andre Cisco. I think that'd be awesome for this team. Fitzpatrick would be a great contrast and can really help Dylan Thielen develop under that area. I know Fitzpatrick did have a down year last year, but I wouldn't really be that worried regardless. So we're going to take Dylan Thielen here. I really like that pick. The Lions take Keldrick Folk, defensive lineman out of Auburn. That would be an interesting area. I think defensive lineman probably means he's probably going to play interior and exterior as well. I think he would be awesome for this team. I think his athleticism, he has a very high floor, but his athleticism is relied on a little bit too much. So it's kind of be an interesting area how this team goes. I think Modern Feeling hasn't even gone off the board yet, so I think Modern Feeling would be awesome for this team. You move Penei Sewell back to right tackle, which he played in college, and you put Modern Feeling on left tackle, and you have your tackles down for the foreseeable future. I think that would be awesome for this team. I would run to the board if you do that. Keldrick Folk just seems a little bit not great, especially how deep his edge class is. I think you can get some more value later down the line than taking Keldrick Folk here and reaching for him. So that's not my biggest fan of the world. The Vikings take edge TJ Parker out of Clemson. I wouldn't hate that pick either. I think this team does need an edge threat, but I think Keldrick Folk would probably fit better for this team because he probably play in the interior and exterior. That would be a little bit better for this team. And I would probably prefer a safety if you can. And man, Kenny Warren is on the board. The drop off is really, really bad, so maybe teams will reach of that because the drop off is really bad. Or maybe you take a guard or a tackle here. There's better areas for this team or defensive interior. I know Peter Woods is off the board. We can take Kenny McDonald. The Hunter, even Caleb Banks. I know he did play with a broken foot, but that's the upside for you to take with him because he can be a real beast. That's the interesting area. Edge isn't the worst idea in the world though, but yeah, I don't hate this pick. The Panthers take Jamal McCoy out of cornerback out of Tennessee. They need more youth in that secondary. I wouldn't hate that pick at all for them as well. I definitely see a defensive tackle in play, but I think I just primarily out of play after Jalen Phillips signed here. So I can definitely see Jamal McCoy going here. You're going to need him here, but that secondary did play really good in the playoffs, so I wouldn't say like completely get secondary and start bolstering up, but yeah, secondary corner is one of the most important positions, and Jamal McCoy was a dog before he tore his ACL, so you gotta hope on the upside again that he comes back to being who he is. Dallas Cowboys take Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Okay, he's saying, okay, hear me out. I will hear him out because this is just a great pick. Like, George Pickens is on a franchise tag year. You know how hot-headed George Pickens is, where if something doesn't go his way, he's going to make it known, and he's going to be a cancer. And I'm not trying to frame George Pickens as a terrible guy. I've never met him. I've never interacted with him. He can be a great guy for all I know. But George Pickens has had these contract disputes and had these areas of issue in these certain areas. And that's going to be a real interesting area if George Pickens decides to hold out and says, I'm not going to play this contract deal. I want a new contract, which is fine. You can get your money, bro. That's perfectly fine. So in that case, you take Jordan Tyson, who has a great floor as a player, and also the injury concerns are a little better. But you already have CeeDee Lamb here, who's also the number 1 receiver, a top 10 receiver in the NFL. If you take Jordan Tyson, who's probably the best receiver in terms of talent-wise, if George Pickens decides to hold out, it's not a bad idea. And also, if you let go of George Pickens or decide to trade him because he got franchise tag or whatever, you literally get a replacement instantly with someone who has a similar talent level. Like, it's interesting to think about. I think this isn't out of the realms of possibilities, and I think this would be an interesting contrast for this team. The Steelers take Casey Conception out of Texas A&M. They don't usually go for this type of receiver. I definitely think they can't even play the slot because this team only has 2 an X and a Z outside. So I definitely think it's gonna happen. It kind of do it all. This would be a really enticing pick for them too, as well, because as well as the other intangibles as well with the punt returner and kick returner. That would be incredible for this team that really needs it. So and play the slot too. It'll be a good contrast to these other guys in that wide receiver room, especially after losing Calvin Austin, who really lost that, who had that slot role. So that would be pretty good for this team. The Chargers take Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. I don't really like this pick at all. I think Kenyon Sadiq should have gone to the Titans, in my opinion, or to the Titans, to the Panthers, in my opinion, or the Chiefs. I think this is not great for this team, but this, I guess you want a weapon for Herbert and he can play on the outside. He would be awesome for this team, but I think you just need a little bit more on the offensive line or even defensive front. But yeah, I can definitely see this going. It's a little bit of a luxury pick for this team, though. The Eagles take Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana. I can see this too. It really depends if AJ Brown is going. If he is, I would definitely say Omar Cooper Jr. is in play. I'm really high on Omar Cooper Jr. as well. But this team would love another wide receiver if you end up trading AJ Brown. So I wouldn't really hate on it, but it seems a little bit of a luxury pick for a team that needs an edge. So take that with a grain of salt. The Cleveland Browns take Marvin Fling out of Georgia, so they get my six overall pick in 24. Okay, whatever. As long as you get him, it's fine. He'd be awesome for this team. He prototypical tackle frame, doesn't have as much experience as I would like, but would be awesome for this team because you develop him into a stud. The Bears take Caleb Banks out of Florida. I don't know if Caleb Banks will fall of a foot injury. I don't know how teams will think of this, but seems to be a recurring theme in Caleb Banks' game, where he does get hurt over and over and over again, and that's just been how it is. Like, he's been awesome on the field, but that's when he's on the field. It's kind of like Jordan Tyson. When he's on the field, he's amazing, but when he's off the field, it's really hard to like say, okay, wow, like that's crazy. Like, I think he might fall because of his foot injuries. He might be back mid-summertime, but at the same time, right? Do you want to take a chance on that, or do you want to just take like a day 2 pick on that? So it's gonna be an interesting way this area thinks. But the Bears do need a defensive tackle, but I think Emmanuel McNeil-Warren would make way more sense because the safety drop up, like I said, is crazy. If you don't get Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, don't theme or Caleb Downs. The next group of safeties: AJ Halsey, Kamari Ramsey, Genesis Smith, all are bits of projects. Besides maybe AJ Halsey, I'm pretty high on AJ Halsey, but I think he'll go mid-second. The rest of those guys are a lot of projects, and that's gonna be a little interesting area to think about. Cardinals straight up and take Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama. That would be an interesting area to see how this pick goes. Trade terms: Arizona receives pick number 28, Buffalo receives pick number 34, 104, and 2027 third. Bills, honestly, the drop off for this draft class for what they need isn't bad. Maybe take a safety or an edge. I wouldn't really hate this pick at all for them. So yeah, the Cardinals get their quarterback of the future as well. Yeah, I don't hate that pick at all. 49ers take Caleb Lomu, who offensive tackle out of Utah. Caleb Lomu is a really raw prospect in my opinion too. I think he would be awesome to pair up with Trent Williams and probably play that swing tackle if you really need him to. I don't hate this pick at all. Texas take Chase Passantes. I think there's a little bit of a reach. I would prefer you take Emmanuel Pregnon if he falls, which in my case I think he will. I think taking the board for the defensive tackles is a little too good. Maybe taking Kenny McDonald or Lee Hunter. Lee Hunter can maybe go later, but yeah, some of those other guys would make a little more sense in the second round. But yeah, I guess for how the board's falling, it's not the worst idea in the world to take Chase Passantes here. The Chiefs take Avon Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. This would be awesome. This would be eerily similar to Trent McDuffie. Spags like these type of corners. I think this would be awesome for this team. Broncos take K. McDonald, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. This would be awesome for this team as well after losing John Franklin Myers to Tennessee Titans, which is honestly just not even your fault. The Tennessee Titans just threw a bag at him. It was an overpay. And you're going to have to lose him. So taking K. McDonald here is not the worst thing in the world. I also say Jacob Rodriguez isn't play because you need a linebacker. I know they re-signed Alex Singleton. I don't know why they didn't make that many moves. They just re-signed a bunch of players and let some go. So that's going to be an interesting area to see where this team goes in the near future. But taking K. McDonald here is not the worst idea in the world. The Patriots take Blake Miller. I think this would be awesome for this team. You can definitely develop him. You already got your guards situated, and you said Will Campbell is not moving into guard. He's keeping him in left tackle. Interesting area to think about, but this team does need an offensive tackle later on, even if Moses goes. Seahawks take Chris Johnson Jr. I think I'm a little higher on Chris Johnson Jr. than some people already are. I think I have him as a mid to early day 2 player. I think this would be awesome for this team. He has surefire hands. Does great in zone coverage. I think this team, for how many secondary they lost, they might have to reach on a secondary, so this is not the worst idea in the world. Starting round 2, the Jets take Denzel Boston, wide receiver at Washington. I always pick a lot for them too. I think they need a wide receiver here. This would be a good contrast to that wide receiver room in Adonai Mitchell. I know they lost John Mechie, but Adonai Mitchell, Garrett Wilson would be awesome number 3 for this guy. He doesn't have elite separation, but he'd be good at the catch point. He'd be awesome for this team. The Bills take C.J. Allen. I think this is another pretty good pick. A thumper, a good tackler, just really good in the run game. Has a little problems in his pass pro sometimes on the smaller guys, but I think it'll be awesome for this team. Tennessee Titans get a wide receiver 1 for them, other than the destroyed ACL, which sucked. But I think I already have him as a round 1 type of player. I was mocking him to the Patriots a lot before he tore his ACL, so that's gonna be a real interesting area. But the Titans get them round 1 talent, in my opinion, just other than the ACL tear, which follows him. But this would be awesome for this team. He won't immediately play in the NFL because, again, the ACL tear, but he will be awesome for this team when he comes back and be a really good wide receiver 1 and a really decent wide receiver room now. The Raiders take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety out of Toledo. Awesome guy. He's not a true a true athletic freak like someone like Genesis Smith is, but he's just damn good at a bunch of shit he does, and he produced a lot in Toledo. So I think taking him here is great. I think I have him as my safety number 3, but it would be awesome for this team. The safety drop off is gigantic. So the Raiders taking their safety here honestly isn't a bad move. John's taking Emmanuel Pregnon out of Oregon. I think this would be another interesting area. They haven't re-signed any of their guards that they let walk. They re-signed Evan Neal. I don't know what the plan is there. I'm not going to bank on him starting at all. You have your 2 tackles. Jermaine Lenoir was a great signing, and Andrew Thomas was also a great signing. You have John Michael Schmitz playing center. You just don't really have any guard play, so I think taking Emmanuel Pregnon here, who produced in both areas. Really took his production over the top in Oregon after transferring from USC. He also for this team, he's a little bit of an older prospect, but I don't think that's going to stop you from drafting him. That'd be awesome. This team has a big vacancy at guard. The Texans take Cassius Howell, edge out of Texas A&M. This is fine, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think this is a little luxurious. I think I like linebacker more for this team. I think Jacob Rodriguez would be awesome for this team, especially with the contracts adding up for the linebacker spot regardless. So I think Jacob Rodriguez would be a little bit better. But I think taking Cassius Howell here, get into production, maybe develop him under Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. wouldn't be a worst idea. But he just has a really short arms, and I just don't think that it's gonna get him this high. The Browns take Chris Brazil, wide receiver out of Tennessee. This is also a little bit of a reach. I just don't like this at all either. I think I like Ted Hurst more than Chris Brazil. I don't know why people are mocking him super high, but I think people really like Chris Brazil. I don't know. I just don't like it. I'm not a huge fan of this. He is really good. He's not like the average Tennessee wide receiver where he just runs one go route and burns you off the top. He actually has some depth to him with the catch point and even some decent route running skills. I just think this is a little bit too rich for me. The Chiefs take Eli Stowers for tight end out of Vanderbilt. I'm not a huge fan of this either. It's not a very good schematically fit. You can maybe develop him under development under Travis Kelce, but he's not a big blocking tight end like they usually have gone in the past, who has the pass catching upside. It's okay, but again, it's not very good schematically for me. The Bengals take Brandon Cece out of South Carolina. This would be a pretty good pick too. I think this would be awesome for the team. Athletic freak, he'll be pretty good. Other than some of the bad game against Texas A&M, he was honestly pretty solid year round. So I think it'd be pretty good for this team. The Saints take Colton Hood, quarterback out of Tennessee. This was awesome for the team. They need corner as well after they, again, let Alontae Taylor go because he was getting thrown a bag, which is fine. That's just going to happen. So this is not the worst idea in the world for the team. The Dolphins take Gabe Biakis out of Illinois. This would be, honestly, not a bad pick as well either. I think this would be pretty good for Jeff Hafley in his system. I like this pick a lot for them. The Jets take Zion Young, edge out of Missouri. They didn't take edge in the first round, so they're probably going to need to take him here. I like this pick a lot for them. They get edge, linebacker, safety, and wide receiver. The big team needs. And Zion, other than the DUI, the production on the field has been really good. It's just some character concerns was a problem, obviously, with the DUI. So that's going to be a little interesting area to think about, but I think this would be awesome value for the Jets. It would take R. Mason Thomas. I don't think this would be a pick at all. I think R. Mason Thomas ran really bad for his combine speed. I think he's more of a round 3, round 4 type player for me now because his whole game was his speed, and he didn't really do that in the combine. So I don't really like that at all. I think this team would prefer a better wide receiver or a better edge here. Hence, let's see some edges. Malachi Lawrence would be so much better. Darshall Joseph's I don't like any of that. I think Malachi Lawrence would be so much better. Or even Derek Moore would be so much better. I think Derek Moore is a round 2 player for me as well. I think that would work so much more better for the Ravens. So I wouldn't really mind that at all for them. Bucks take Anthony Hill Jr. I see no world where Anthony Hill Jr. goes over Jacob Rodriguez or Josiah Trotter. I think Anthony Hill Jr. is too raw and too inconsistent as a prospect for the point to where you can take Jacob Rodriguez just in general, who didn't really was known for an athlete but tested pretty well for an athlete at the combine. I just think that makes a little more sense. Or even Jake Galladay, who has really good straight line speed, would be awesome for this team. I think Anthony Hill Jr. is a little too inconsistent. The Colts take Jake Galladay, though. I really like that pick a lot for them too. He'll be awesome for this team. I think this team really needs a linebacker as well after letting Zaire Franklin go. Be a pretty good pick for this team. The Falcons take Max Iheanacho, offensive tackle out of Arizona State. I also like this pick a lot for them too. I think offensive tackle. I don't think Max Iheanacho is the first round player. He's too inconsistent. He's too raw. But if you take him in the second round, taking a chance to develop, I really like this pick a lot for them. I think this would be awesome for this team. Minnesota Vikings take Keith Abney, Arizona State cornerback. I think this would be awesome for this team as well. I'm really high on Keith Abney. I think he'll be pretty good in the system. He's just a little smaller, but I think Brian Flores can get the best out of him. The Lions take Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama. This would be another pretty good pick. They got edge and offensive tackle. Would be two big needs for this team. Taking offensive tackle here, develop him into a freak. He has size, but it's just the problem is his like technique. But you can, if you develop him into a good technical offensive tackle, will be awesome for this team. Panthers take Jacob Rodriguez, which is a big need for this team. They really need linebacker after letting some of those guys go. Be awesome for this team. Jacob Rodriguez would be an instant game changer for this offense or for this defense. Love the pick. The Packers take Malachi Lawrence, edge out of UCF. This would be another pretty good pick too. I think Malachi Lawrence is really good too. I think I have him as a round 2 player. He'd be awesome for this team. Really strong, really agile. Be pretty good for this team. I think this team needs a vacancy at edge after the whiff of a year of Rashawn Gary. Obviously, let him go. But Malachi Lawrence would be a great pick for this team. Pittsburgh Steelers take Jalen Farmer. I don't hate this pick at all either. I think Jalen Farmer is fine. Get a high floor guard. It's not the worst idea in the world to take him. The Eagles take A.J. Halsey, safety out of LSU. I think that the Eagles, after losing Blankenship, can definitely take A.J. Halsey here. Again, they did take who did they take in the earlier rounds? They did take Omar Cooper Jr. So it doesn't seem like they have a lot of needs in this area. I think I would love edge here. I think edge would be awesome for this team. But again, the board hasn't fallen that well. But I think Derek Moore would be awesome for this team as well. I think Derek Moore is a second round player. But AJ Hawley would be fine filling that Blankenship role that they probably will miss. Defensive tackle Grace Halton goes to LA. Would be a pretty good team fit for this team as well. I think not a bad fit at all. I'm just not as high as him as I am other people. I think Big Citrus I'm a little higher on. Be pretty good for this team though, regardless, because they do need a defensive tackle. The Jags take Kamari Ramsey, safety out of USC. I can definitely see that too. I think if D'Angelo Pons is still on the board, I would love that for them and get a nickel corner after losing so much secondary in free agency. But also for this team, Kamari Ramsey is not a bad pick though. I'm not as high as him as other people are. I think he'll be fine. I don't think he's worth a second round pick though. I think I'm more of with round 3 or round 4 type player. Bears take Connor Lew, center of Auburn. I don't hate this pick at all. Connor Lew's a dog. I think the Bears need a center anyways. So taking Connor Lew here is not a bad pick at all, especially if they have a second round pick as well. The 49ers take Jeremy Bernard, another high floor player who didn't really miss much time. I think this team really needs another high floor player in the wide receiver room for this team, especially after losing some of these guys. Be pretty good for this team regardless. I think this team would like a player like Jeremy Bernard, who isn't astounding at everything, but he's just solid at a bunch of things. So it'd be awesome for this team. Texans take Big Citrus out of Iowa State. I don't hate this pick at all either. I think Lee Hunter would work a little bit better than Big Citrus. I think you're kind of working with too much in the past with Big Citrus because he obviously had a really good year 2 years ago. But taking Lee Hunter here, who honestly had a really good Senior Bowl, not a great combat, but a really good Senior Bowl, and really plug in the nose for this team, be a little bit better for Big Citrus, who kind of seems like a bank on an upside type of guy. He kind of seems like a reacher. The Bears take Joshua Josephs, edge out of Tennessee. I think I'm not a huge fan of this. Again, I don't know in what world Romello Height and Joshua Josephs go over Derek Moore after this fucking Senior Bowl he had. It's crazy. The Bears do need a edge, though. I just think Josh Josephs is a reach. I don't like this at all. The Rams take Christian Miller, defensive tackle of Georgia. Christian Miller is an absolute freak. I would honestly prefer Christian Miller over Big Citrus as well. I like Big Citrus, but I'm not as high on him as Christian Miller or these other guys, right? So I think this would make a little more sense for the Rams to go for a defensive freak. So I think I like this pick a lot. The Broncos take Max Clare. Damn well, solid option. Did pretty well sharing those targets with those Ohio State wide receivers. And running back room. Be awesome for this team. I think Denver Broncos could use a tight end as well. I'm not a gigantic hater of this. The Patriots take Romello Height, edge out of Texas Tech. I think this is a little too rich for me as well. I think this team needs a little bit more than someone like Romello Height, which is just speed rush and just you either win or lose. Like, that's a real issue. He doesn't have much depth to his game. That's gonna be a real problem. I think Derek Moore again is just so much better than this. I think he just would work so much better for this team. Seahawks take Jenny Sunker, offensive guard of Iowa. I think guard makes way more sense for him. I think he just moves too slow. But taking Jenny Sunker is a pretty good pick for this team, and I honestly really like the Seahawks and what the Seahawks did in this draft. I wouldn't hate this pick at all. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in general. Let me know if you guys just think. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.